Hey Google. Hey guys. Never mind Google. Hey guys, for today we're gonna turn this and this and this into beautiful living wall art. Welcome to another DIY episode of the Plant Box, and today we're gonna do a little something different. So just a little background with the item that I got here. So the other day I went to a local thrift store in our area just to check for something that I can thrift flip but still plant related. So I saw this some sort of long picture frame, longer than usual picture frame, where you can put 3 photos on it. So it's a IKEA Reebok picture frame. So I got this at the thrift store for like £1 only, because apparently that thrift store everything was on sale, so it's like 50-70% off. I don't know. So yeah, I got this frame. So the first time I laid my eyes on this frame, I initially thought of making some sort of living moss wall, a framed moss wall, but I would like to think outside of the box, like literally outside of the box. So I want to make a living wall art that it's like popping out of the frame. So I thought of making an orchid mount. So I was planning to put a cork bark in the middle with a orchid attached on it. So join me today as we flip this frame into a wonderful living wall art.
In today's project, we are hitting 2 birds with 1 stone, as I am going to show you on how to mount an orchid with style and how to take care of mounted plants, in this case an orchid. First things first, we are going to prepare the frame. I removed the glass and mat board from the frame as we do not need them for this project. What we need is the desk cover as the mounting board for the cork bark later and the frame itself. You can use any frame that you like those Victorian or vintage frames with design carved into them, small frame or large frame, or any shapes of frame. Just get those creative juices flowing. Usually the desk cover of a frame are made out of MDF board or sometimes plastic. Just make sure what you're going to use is sturdy enough to hold the mounting piece, the substrate, and the plant. Also, somewhat water resistant to withstand water damage due to watering the plant. Once that's done, you are now left with the desk cover and a frame. Next is the mounting piece. This cork bark was purchased online because I cannot find any bark or branches in my area that suits this project. And I do not have enough time to dry up the wood as well. What I use here is a Komodo habitat bark that I got off from Amazon. What I like with this bark is that it's been prepared and dried for use in terrariums. It is not treated with chemicals as well, so it is safe to use for plants or animals. They sell different sizes of barks as well, so if you want to get your hands in one of these, I'm going to leave an Amazon link on the description box below. I divided the bark into smaller pieces as it was way too big for the frame. If you have a power tools, which I don't have, this task will be a lot easier. I chose cork bark as my mounting piece cause I want the orchid to look like it's growing from a tree. Other than that, cork is an ideal mount as it is durable and known to last for 10 years. So when looking for a mount, make sure it is durable, rot resistant, and has a rough surface where roots can attach to. As you can see here, I was not satisfied with the looks of the branch, so I took a piece of a bark from the other half and reattach it with super glue to the one that I'm going to use. Not to worry though when using super glue, as it becomes inert once fully dried and it is not harmful nor toxic to plants. I then held it in place with rubber bands and I let it cure and dry for 24 hours. While the super glue is drying, I am now going to attach the hooks or loops. I use this screw loop which I will attach at the back of the bark. Find a good spot where the mount meets the dust cover of the frame. What I did with mine is I laid the cork bark on top of the frame and found a good and discreet spot where I can screw the loop. I then screw 4 loops in place. To make it more secure, you can add a dab of super glue, which I should have done here, but when I screwed them in place it was already nice and secured. Once that's done, mark where you're gonna attach the hooks in the dust cover. I used the same screw loops and made it into a hook by prying it open with pliers. Then I screw it in place on the dust cover. Since the dust cover of a frame are usually thin, the screw will surely poke out of the other side. To make this frame safe to handle and secure the screw more in place, you can add a piece of wood at the back deep enough for the screw to bite, or what I did here was, I used glue sticks that was cut a few centimeters longer than the screw. Then I screw it in place. This makes the mount more secured and safe to handle. How many times did I mention the word screw in this part of the video? Try and mount the cork bark on the frame and you will have something that looks like this. Now, we are going to prepare the orchid by carefully pulling it out from its pot. Remove all potting mix from the roots slowly and carefully. While you're at it, snip off the dead or dried roots with the sanitized shears. Rinse the root with water to remove any debris, then set it aside. Now, grab a moist sphagnum moss. This will be used as a medium to retain moisture because mountain orchid roots tends to dry up much faster. Sphagnum moss is an excellent medium since it retains moisture, yet still allows air to circulate freely around the roots of the orchid. I am also going to use various mosses to dress the roots and the bark for a more natural look. Next, grab a bunch of sphagnum moss and place a thin layer on top of the bark where you are gonna attach the plant. Grab a cotton thread, or you can also use jute string to wrap around the moss and the bark just to keep it in place. Then mount the orchid on top and carefully spread the roots around the bark. Then cover with another thin layer of sphagnum moss on top. Again, grab your cotton thread and wrap with a few layers of thread to keep the moss and plant in place. I also added a layer of sheet moss on top to give it more life. I even let some of the roots to sit on top of the moss to make it look like it's been growing there for years and it's starting to outgrow the mosses. Secure everything in place by wrapping a few rounds of cotton thread. Spray the roots and mosses with water while working to prevent drying out. I also placed some random mosses as well on the nooks and crannies of the bark to make it look natural. And finally, attach your mounted orchid on the frame. And we are done. You can hang it on a wall or display it on top of a table like what I did here. Place this in bright indirect light to prevent sun damage to the leaves of the orchid and mosses as well. Mounted orchids wants to be watered frequently. Water the plant daily or every other day by soaking the mount and root system in water for 10 to 15 minutes or soak under running water. We can also water this by spraying water on the mount, roots, and mosses. I was not satisfied with the final look, so I added a black cardboard stock at the back to give more contrast between the bark and the dust cover and to make the plant pop out even more.
So that's how I thrift flipped this 1 pound picture frame into an awesome Orchid wall mount art. So this project is fairly easy to make. The materials that I've used may be already available at your home, like the frame, the hook that I use at the back, or even the orchids or the plant. For the mount, you may even use different materials like clay mount for orchids, cocoa fiber, or even random branch from your backyard or from your local park. But be sure to dry the wood first as it so that it won't rot while on display and it will not grow molds as well. Also make sure that the materials that you're going to use as a mount are not treated with any chemicals as it may be harmful for your plant. For the plants, I advise you to use epiphytic orchids only like Phalaenopsis or Dendrobiums, as there's a second type of orchids which are the terrestrial ones or the one that grow on land, which will not be suitable for this kind of setup. Also, you're not limited to orchids. You can use other epiphytic plants like staghorn ferns, bromeliads, air plants, bird's nest fern, or any other epiphytic plants. I am going to leave an Amazon link in the description box below for the materials that I used in today's project, just in case you don't have it at home. The neon lights are optional. You can also use fairy lights if you want. I just picked up this neon light from the charity store with the frame, so I thought of adding it to the display just for fun. And as neon lights with plants are somewhat a trend before, like those living green walls with neon signs and such. So I did not fix the neon flex light in place for two reasons. First is I also like the look without the neon light, of course, because it looks more natural and the simpler the better. Second is maintenance reason, like maintaining the roots and the moss. The light will be on your way while doing maintenance on your plant, and as well as with watering the plant. I do not advise to use non-water resistant LED lights as there's a risk of potential harm like electrical shock or even fire. So if you're gonna add lights to it, be sure it's water resistant. And just be creative and have fun with your work of plant art. I hope you will try this project as well and you learned a lot about mounting orchids in today's video. Leave a comment down below on what you think of today's project, or if you have any questions or even suggestions for our future videos. Also, tag me on my Instagram account, which I'm going to leave in the description box below, with your own creation of this project. Don't forget to like this video and share this to spread Plantsitivity to everyone. And please subscribe to see more and support this channel. Also, click the bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video. Again, thank you so much guys for watching and stay safe everyone.